Hi, this is Donna Lewis, and welcome to Breathe Life Ministries. I am here today to share a very relevant author introduction to you. This is a young woman who reached out to me yesterday. Her story is nothing less than compelling. Every word of it is ringing with a authenticity that cannot be denied. The author is Nicole Flemming, and she wrote the book, and I'm just going to bring it up here because I want to make sure that I um, read the title of the book correctly to you. I just began reading it yesterday. I'm already into the 16th chapter, and it is absolutely. I have rarely read a book that I cannot put down. And this is one that I read for hours yesterday and could not put down. It is called My Escape: Born into a Dysfunctional Family. Honestly, dysfunctional after reading this book is putting it lightly. Nicole was born into a family where her Western Irish born mother met a young man in the United Kingdom working in a bar who was of Afghani descent. He was an Afghani immigrant to Great Britain. They met, they romanced, and they fell in love, and they had Nicole. Well, their romance quickly descended into an extremely abusive relationship. And that abusive relationship quickly descended into a living nightmare. Nicole reached out to me yesterday. I am an author as well. Many of you know I authored the book Toxic to Transformed: 100 Words of Life to Renew the Mind. And it is a devotional for recovery from toxic verbal and emotional violence. Nicole and I met through various author groups that we are a part of on Facebook. And she reached out to me because I had posted on my personal page some emotional responses to what I was witnessing in the horrors that are Afghanistan now that the troops have been removed. And I'm going to read to you now because, with her permission, she is allowing me to read this to you. This is how she reached out to me. Up until yesterday, though, we were friends on Facebook, and again, part of similar author groups. We hadn't really spoken. And just going to bring up, let's see, just a second. Here we go. Hello, Donna. How are you? I responded back, good morning. Some of my family are in Afghanistan, and I would like you now to please share this video. Like and share this video, because what I'm about to read to you is directly from a girl who has lived the horrors of extremism that are taking place now in Afghanistan. Some of my family are in Afghanistan, as I am half Afghani. After I published my book, my American editor informed me that the troops were leaving. I did not know, as I do not follow the news. So I decided to get in touch with them over there. What I have discovered since June is shocking. The mainstream media are not reporting all that is going on over there. As I read these words, I broke into tears. I mean, not 5 seconds earlier, I had published my posts about 40,000 Americans being left to die in Afghanistan, about Afghani allies that had agreed at their own peril in exchange for a guarantee of their safety, they'd been left to die. I was grieving over the Christians left to die in Afghanistan. Not 5 seconds earlier, I had published those. And then I heard from Nicole. I began to weep as I read her words. She goes on to say, I explain in my first book, which I have just published, that I wanted to get to know my 7-year-old cousin who lived there in Afghanistan. I sent her a mobile phone, and her father found it and stoned her to death. I lived with that guilt so long. Nicole simply wanted to get to know her 7-year-old cousin. From my heart, I hope that people get home safe and well. It is brutal there right now. I am writing another book at the moment which touches base on exactly what is going on over there and explains the untold stories of these women and children. I would be so grateful if my book was able to reach the Americans. As a little girl living in England with such restrictions, my father did not allow me to go to school because I am a girl. The torture I went through just for being female, and that is in England. My heart is breaking as I am gathering all the information from people all over there right now. I feel as if I'm living it again. She grew up in Great Britain. She now lives in Ireland. She's half Irish. um, my friends, please share this video. I had invited Nicole to come on live with me, but because of the connections that her father has to extremism within Afghanistan, she firmly believed that her life would be in danger if she went public. So, in conversing with her about the best way to communicate her story, we agreed that me being her voice for this platform is the best protocol. So that's what I'm doing. I'm providing a voice for Nicole. And I would appreciate it if you would take part in that and be Nicole's voice as well and share her story. Nicole is the author of the book My Escape: Being Born into a Dysfunctional Family. And it's available on Amazon. I'll put the information in this thread so that you can connect with it. I highly recommend reading it. She goes into great detail on her family history and then her life experience. And she's very matter of fact, very candid, yet you can feel her compassion throughout it. Her voice is very authentic. I believe her, and I recommend that you read her story. She does not share the Christian faith that I do. However, as a believer and follower of Jesus Christ, I am to be a voice to the voiceless. And her story is relevant. Her story is authentic. And though it will be extremely difficult for those reading her story to process the brutality of what she grew up under, it's extremely important that you gird yourself up and understand this is what is happening to young girls every day. And now there is no restraint. I'm going to read to you now the introduction of her book. It's called it's titled Author's Note. And again, this is from the book, My Escape, Born into a Dysfunctional Family by Nicole Flemming. Hi, my name is Nicole. I am 30 years old, and I was born in London. Certain topics are never really talked about and need highlighting. As an example, I wanted to get to know my 7-year-old female cousin in Afghanistan. She was cute, with dark skin and black curly hair. I saw a picture of her. She had the most beautiful smile. I felt as if I knew this little girl on a soul level, or perhaps a past life. I do not know. I do not know when, but I had met her before somewhere. I just knew it, which is why I wanted to get to know her. What better way than to send her a mobile phone? Which I did. We talked regularly. But one day, a year later, I stopped hearing from her. I was told her father flew into a rage when he found the mobile phone and just picked up a stone in sheer anger on the spur of the moment and stoned her to death. I'm going to stop for a moment. How many of you talk to a niece or a cousin, a family member, a grandchild on a mobile phone? How many of you can even imagine that being a death sentence? She was a little girl, and having a mobile phone was a death sentence. This is the mentality that the United States of America has abandoned young girls in Afghanistan to. I'm going to continue. I was told her father flew into a rage when he found the mobile phone and just picked up a stone in sheer anger on the spur of the moment and stoned her to death. Despite it being officially illegal in this area of the country, he was not prosecuted. The offense warranted death. For years, I lived with guilt. I regretted it so deeply that depression hit me, where I almost took my own life because of the guilt. My life has been gut-wrenching, to say the least. In this book, I want to be that voice for females who do not have their own voice. I hope to inspire you while leaving you in disbelief at times. I hope to encourage you with my stories that there is hope no matter what situation we find ourselves in. I have witnessed the most shocking and horrendous true life stories that you will ever read. I have been blessed to be able to tell my stories. I'm telling you the way things happened in real time. I would like to highlight the fact that I am not racist. I love every single human being, regardless of skin color, religion, race, or gender preferences. That is irrelevant to me. I have nothing against anyone in life. I'm a lover, not a fighter. But certain situations I know about or lived through need to be highlighted, as it is my family, my life, and my story. I cannot speak for how others live or behave. I can only tell my truth and my truth only. The things I'm going to be discussing are not intended to offend anyone, but I need to talk about them. I feel I have lived several hundred years in my short life. That's the end of the author's note from Nicole Flemming. Again, her book can be found on Amazon. It's available in Kindle, audiobook, and also paperback. I highly recommend you read this book. It is an important story, one that must be heard. I've committed to Nicole to be her voice on this platform, and that is what I am doing. As Christians, we are called to be a voice for the voiceless. We are called to hold back those running headlong into death. Be a voice for the voiceless. Join me here each week, and I will be sharing more of Nicole's story. And again, share this video, like this video, and please allow others to hear an inside perspective of what life is like for a young girl being raised under extremist ideologies And this story is extremely relevant because of what is taking place right now in Afghanistan and how the Taliban has been allowed to be unchained, unhindered, and fully in charge. Again, imagine your niece, your cousin, your grandchild, your godchild being stoned to death because you dared to give them a cell phone. And they dared to speak to you on it. And that's only the beginning. It's hard for Western mindset to process fully this kind of life. But we must process it. And we must advocate for these people. So again, share this video, like this video, and see me and subscribe to Breathe Life Ministries. Thank you and God bless.